It is 7:04. This is the East China Township Park Commission meeting, and we are ready to take the roll call.
You called the meeting to order at 7:04.
John Grabsky here.
Okay,
Kizron.
here. Pam Kell,
Evelyn Tolles.
Ron Miller.
thank you. Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Has everyone had a chance to approve the agenda?
I'll take a motion to approve the agenda.
Okay. I'll second it. Has everybody had a chance to read the approved minutes? The draft minutes?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay. Anybody want to second that?
I'll second that.
Okay. Do we have any guest speakers?
Yeah, I've got something to say.
Oh, come on.
Well,
Can I sit here and say that?
Of course.
Okay. Can we just pump out the dog pond, park over there? Can they just pump that out of there?
We have been working on that. Deanna, do you want to tell them how you're working on that?
It's on the agenda, actually.
Yeah, it is on
So,
the agenda.
it'll be discussed today.
Okay. Are you willing to wait for that, or would you rather have it straight?
Sure.
Anything else? Public comment, ongoing dog parking. Did everybody get a chance to peruse the financial reports?
Staple.
Does anyone see anything that they have concerns about?
I wouldn't say that they're concerns, but I've just got a question on page 2 of 2.
Okay,
Just budgeted items. Bell River Park, there's $47.50 left. Is that related to the installation of that, or, do you know? Maybe I'm not reading this correctly.
So $47.50 is in the budget this year for work at that park.
Okay,
Has not been spent yet.
is that like, is there like commitment for that?
There is,
Yes.
there's some sidewalk work that needs to be done, is what I.
And the kayak launch
And the
install.
launch install.
Okay. And again, I'm not challenging these, I'm ignorant on these things. Manor Park upgrade. Just curious. I took my wife on a tour of the parks and we took pictures and then all this stuff. I got all this stuff in my head, so.
Manor Park upgrades was resurfacing the basketball court. Not resurfacing, but blacktopping, whatever, what's the asphalt
Seal
sealer?
coating?
Yeah, seal coating. DPW is gonna do that.
and that was replacing the chain link and painting all the posts there.
Okay. $12,000 at the dog park. I know that's always a constant conversation here.
So that was slated for relocating the service gate entry point because it's in a hole. And it makes it hard for us to service it, so that was one of them, and then lowering and doing fence repairs there.
Disc golf. I'm not gonna go through all of them, I just got 5 of them to circle.
Oh, disc golf was, from what my understanding was for refurbishing benches and repurposing brick pavers for tee pads and installing new garbage cans throughout.
I've never, sad to say this, I've never walked the disc golf course.
Well, now there's a big sign that'll show you everywhere to go.
I'm very excited to see it. I like the rendering and I look forward to seeing the real thing. Are there fixed tee pads right now that aren't just gravel and grass?
Right now, they are just rubber mats.
Okay. I think that's enough questions. Thank you. I feel smarter now.
Has everybody got their concerns answered? Do we want to approve the bills?
A motion to approve it.
Approve financials?
Yep.
Okay.
I'll second.
The St. Clair Endowment Fund Grant Award email.
We need to do a roll call since this is financial.
Okay, let me. John?
Yes.
Susan?
Yes.
Pam? Yes.
Evelyn? Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Cindy, do you want to tell them about the award for the community fund?
We did
Well, there's not much to tell. We were granted the 47,000 that we asked for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is for the section 1A of the project.
Right, yep, and we can talk about that in updates if you want. There's not going to be a whole lot at this point, but we can do that.
Good. Does the park manager want to enlighten us?
Everyone has the park manager report?
Yes.
Okay.
Just going through, finishing going through it right now.
I'm up.
Did anyone else?
Sorry this got sent out late. It's been a busy month. Mostly just updates on everything going on. Looking for volunteers for the Parks Appreciation Day if anybody wants to join us.
Yeah, that's actually part of the recreation
Oh,
advisory.
is it?
Yeah, you didn't have to include that, but you did, so
Sorry.
they've got it in front of them now.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
no worries. You've been doing all the work, so.
oh. Let's see, there was a couple of things. We have two baseball teams that want to, well, it's one group, but two teams that want to practice on the hardball fields. It's been a long time since we've had any reservations for field use. So my question is for clarification on the $100 deposit. It's $175 per team plus a one-time application fee of $15. And there's a $100 deposit. Is that a per team deposit or is that a lump deposit?
I believe it was per team when we did it. The application, I don't have the application in front of me, but didn't the application state it was per team?
It was more geared towards leagues and and like the pavilion lumped in with tournaments. So that's where I don't know if you want to decide on how, maybe make a decision on that tonight, if you want to do it a per team deposit or lumped under one coach and what teams he brings in there as 100 per the coach who's leading these teams, or
Have you had any personal requests on this use so far?
No, just him.
So you've got a choice of having $100 up front or $175.
100 or 200, so it'd be
100
100 per team, so, and that's the security deposit, so it's just ensuring that they clean up and don't damage anything while they play for their time.
So just to clarify,
It's refundable
there's one application.
for 2 teams, yes.
If it were a league, how much would we be charging them?
The league's was 175, but I don't recall how we did the deposit, because it's not really specified in the application. So I guess that might be something to update.
Well, considering that we aren't getting use of the fields, which would make it more attractive.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's where people are going to be looking. How much they're going to have to put out up front to use a field that they haven't used for a while, even though it's well-maintained.
Not
So
in
what do
its
you think,
current
Evelyn?
state, but-
I say go with the lesser amount. It's still under one league, so just charge 100. That's what I would vote.
What about you, Kazan?
I just wanted to look at the past minutes, maybe, and see how it was done. Because if we have these, if they have them joining us, well, so far it's only 2 teams, right? One.
And it's not, they're not playing games, like the leagues played games. These guys are using it as practice and scrimmage against each other, so
I
you're gonna have a lot less people coming through, so it's gonna be
It's just a playing field for
Yeah.
them.
Okay,
Somewhere-
then I just agree with, with your, okay. All right, yeah, so we can just charge them the lesser amount. And would you like to make the motion then?
I'll make the motion.
Who wants to support?
I'll support that.
Thank you. So we are charging the teams, I'm just gonna get the wording, $100 for both teams. And then we are still doing the $100 security deposit, which they'll get back.
It's 175
Say.
per team,
Oh, okay.
so there's still 2 teams under one application, but you're only gonna charge the $100 deposit for both teams.
Mm-hmm.
What field preparations have to be made?
A lot. They're, they need a lot of maintenance right now, and he's aware of that, and we're gonna work together on coming up with a game plan to get them playable. Everything's wildly overgrown right now.
And how, did they give you because they're practicing, did they say how frequently they're going to practice, or?
I think it was Tuesdays and Wednesdays, from 4 to 8. 8:30.
Okay, thank you. And they're starting when, and they're going till when?
I don't have that information in front of me. They wanted to start April 16th, but because we are not open technically at that point, and the fields are not in playable condition, so we're hoping for a May 1st start.
Okay.
And I think it's a couple months long.
Okay, thank you.
Because baseball's a 2.5 or 3 season sport in Michigan, spring, summer, fall. Again, I'm just happy that somebody wants to use the baseball field, to be quite honest with you, but it might be a good detail to have a ending time for that.
They do on their application, I just
Okay.
don't have their
Got it.
application.
Okay. Sorry. Thank you.
The only other question I believe I had on my report for you was the locomotive. Looking for feedback on where the park commission would like to see the locomotive placed, if we're awarded.
Well, I believe in your last email, you said that they had a long time to make those decisions as to when they're going to be available and things like that.
Right, but this gentleman is trying to cost plan and fundraise, so he's already in contact with contractors and people with cranes who can, and trailers that can move the thing, because apparently that's how it would have to be moved. What I was told was that they would install tracks and drive it into place, but that was Marysville, and Marysville apparently was like right off the track. So in order to make tracks go all the way to the park, it's crazy expensive. So he's looking into costs for relocating it and then final placement. So, just so we can be ahead of the game and how much money that we need to budget for or raise.
Going to be in a tremendous amount of money, given the weight of those locomotives. Didn't you say 198,000 pounds? And
To 230, yeah. There's two different ones, so whichever one they decide to gift us, if they do. So what, he had a contractor out there that looked at, he thought best placement would be just west of the new playground, like by the Pavilion 2 parking lot. I'm assuming near where our dumpster area is, because they'd be
Well,
able to get it in there.
there's part of that area that floods dramatically in bad weather.
Yeah, the whole further west
Yes.
low swale.
So
So if
you
everybody
don't
would
want-
like to go through and just see locations over there and where you'd like to see it placed.
Well, we only have a certain number of potentials for it. You want to keep it out of the floodplain. You want to keep it on higher ground, I would think. The only higher ground is back towards the other homes over here.
They're trying to plan for something, I think, that is high ground off the roadway, but not taking that weight on our old driveways. So that's gonna destroy our driveways, trying to get it anywhere that's not kind of right off the roadway, where we can hard pack the ground and get a good base for it and get it set up, from my understanding.
But even with that, over time, and erosion and continued rainfall and snowfall, I mean, you have to plan for the long, long term for that extreme amount of weight, because the soil compaction is going to be tremendous. So,
He's got engineers that are friends of his and contractors that are big contractors.
And they
So
put
he's-
down a tile drain.
he's-
okay,
So all that's done before they even place it down. And that's not really where the cost
He's
is.
planning for the long haul, so that's why he wants to get on it now, so that we have something set in stone if, and he's doing this at no cost, and wants to lead up fundraising, and already has people who want to anonymously donate towards it, so.
So is feedback by the May meeting timely enough?
I couldn't say, because we still don't know if we've been awarded it, so. I mean, he's just trying to pre-plan, so if we don't have a solid location, it waits till we do.
I mean, we want it proximal to the playground, right? Because the whole idea is for kids to climb on this, right? Get their
Yeah.
picture taken, woo-woo, that kind of thing, have fun with it.
Yes,
So generally speaking, it needs to be in that neighborhood,
I agree.
so there might just be some inherent logistical benefits to one spot or another that's gonna determine where it goes. I mean, it's gotta be close to the road because of the crane, it's by the playground for the kids. I mean, I could go over and tell you where it should be, but it wouldn't necessarily be the right place.
Right.
I mean, there has to be somebody with more engineering
Mhm.
knowledge than I have. So I don't know what kind of feedback you want from, I'm not criticizing you, I don't know.
I was just given what he gave to me, so if
Mr.
he is involving engineers who are,
Is that Mr. Fieldhauer?
yes.
Okay. I know Mr. Fieldhauer.
Me too. Grew up with them.
So he was just asking for input, and if
I would think the engineers, if we know, they could say, yeah, this is better because of this, or that's not as good, you know, but if we had, but you're right, Ron, it should sit next to the playground, you know, with the
Yeah.
kids. No one wants to walk 2 fields over to jump on a
There's
train.
your feedback. There's your feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's probably as detailed as we can give you.
okay. That's all I have as far as what's not on the manager's report.
Did you have anything you wanted to show them?
Oh, yes.
I mean, the computer.
Me too, right. I do have some photos, if I can get connected here.
Is that the dog park? Sorry.
It might be.
There it is.
I didn't realize I had to click on that thing.
Oh,
sorry.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so here is one of the water bottle. How do I close this off?
Just,
Okay.
yeah.
This is the south side of the sled garage. We removed the window that was there and used that to install it. So we will be installing a new window above that. But it's pretty sharp. It's very exciting, and a lot of people have already given feedback.
It's functional right now?
It is now functional. I'm waiting for DPW to get the test results from the water just to make sure it's all drinkable, and then we're good to go. So it can be used as is until we get it, you know, finished. This is the side of our office building, main building.
Nice.
But they did a real nice job of getting it installed. This is related, you want me to wait on this one? Okay, hold on.
Just anything that's in your report.
This is the disc golf sign, as you're coming off of the far west side of the soccer parking lot. And you go down the path and turn to the left. That is it from a distance. Sorry, they weren't blurry till I downloaded them.
Have you received any feedback from the group that, you know, did the fundraising and the design of this? Did they see this and say that they like this?
Disc fan, who,
You'd be talking Lucas.
they installed it.
Okay.
Yeah, yep. He retrieved the sign and did the full installation himself.
So they
But-
didn't switch the colors?
It was approved as was
Yep.
submitted,
Looks nice.
and that's the back side of it. But they did a real nice job. This is the inside of the office. The back side of where they did the installation of the water bottle filler. But in my report, you'll see that office repainting and things need to be done. Now, we've had shelves sitting on that wall for some time, and moisture obviously was an issue, so we're going to address those. This is just DPW setup while they were saw cutting to try to keep the mess down, and they had like it vacuuming out, but this is the other issue is, this is DPW. He reached into the block and pulled out what is supposed to be like a sand type insulation. and was able to squeeze it into like a mud ball. So we do have moisture
Moisture.
issues in the building. So is why I want to get them pressure washed and sealed to start controlling our moisture and foundation issues. Okay, that's it for now.
Thank you.
Thank you, those were nice.
One more thing.
No, are you done?
I was just gonna, Cindy reminded me, I will be sending an email, or Cindy will probably be sending an email out, probably tomorrow for other information for next month's meeting, if you guys could review that, so we can discuss it at the next meeting. Yes, I will, Donna.
The township liaison?
There's not too much to report. She brought up the sign. I was gonna bring that up, but a very good point. It looked awesome when I went out there to check it out. The filing deadline's coming up next Tuesday for the Township Board and the Park Commission, so if anybody wants to run for any of all the positions are up, so good time to get involved and serve the community. And then the Township is hiring for several positions, recording secretary, a lot of park positions. So hopefully we can get some people, if people in high school want like a part-time job, or people fresh out of high school need a gig, it's a good first job. Sign, I already got that. And then the other thing is the bylaws. Are we gonna discuss that?
Well,
later?
I have been reviewing the bylaws that Cindy sent. From my point of view, the ones that Cindy sent are not acceptable because the shared agreement is primary on the first page. And the shared agreement was under the consideration that that could be canceled at any time. So that should not be a portion of the bylaws.
I haven't looked at this in months.
I don't think that's in this one. I don't know which. I'll give, you want, here, I'll give this to you. That's the one.
This is the problem. That's a shared
I
service
mean,
agreement.
it's up to you guys. You guys can do whatever you want. That was just like a sample, but I mean. you guys
I
can-
understand that, but the first thing I do is I review every little bit. And to me, that's a problem. To the rest of the people, it's your consideration. But the shared services agreement was under the consideration that it could be canceled.
There is no agreement.
Yeah, there is no.
There's nothing.
It showed that shows all the shared services.
I don't see that anywhere.
Are you talking about the chart? The chart? Is that what you're talking about?
The bottom part.
The organizational chart?
Here,
I
here.
don't know.
I think so, yes.
You can keep, I have a.
All of this shows
It's the chart.
where we come through to the Township Board and the Parks Commission. Then the Parks Commission is simply advisory. Now, the Recreation Board is not advisory.
You
So
don't-
the dotted lines are just showing how we interact.
I understand that, but again, this is not a structure. I do not believe these structures believe or need to be in the bylaws.
Oh, that's up to you. Again,
I
these
know,
are
that's
your-
just my consideration. Everybody else here has their own opinion, and, you know, that will be respected. But when you look at quite a few other organizations, they don't have that in it either.
Yeah, you
So,
don't have to have it in there. If you don't want it in there, it doesn't have to be in there.
I know, that's one of those things. And there was a few others that enlarged the duties and/or the status of the commissions. And I would prefer to have everybody review those and decide what they want as the structures. It's not up to me to tell the rest of the members what to think.
Right.
It's a matter of they're making the choice of what do you want in your bylaws, because those will be for a long time. So I'll forward a couple more samples to each of you. And then you will need to decide what you want.
By next month? I mean, like, can we vote on it and get that done by next meeting, or?
I'm hoping to get it done by next
Okay.
meeting.
All right.
So that's one of the things that stood out at me, like, first thing, it was like, no, that doesn't belong in there. According to me. And again, that's a combination of my thoughts, but the rest of the people as well, so.
Are there any questions or anything about anything going on in the township? Anybody have any questions or concerns?
Well, we still have the water and sewer things going on, do we?
Yep.
And how long will those be going on?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I think it's just ongoing. Point
Okay.
Drive and, yeah.
So have we reached any percentage of completion?
I'm
I don't know.
I'm not involved
I
directly in the
don't-
project.
I don't know, to be honest with you. I will get back with you on that, though.
Okay. Something to look forward to?
Yeah. Any other questions or concerns?
Are there going to be any more increases in the water and sewer rates?
I'm sure at some point.
How soon?
That, I don't know, to be honest. I'm not involved with there's like a committee that they have with it, but they
Okay.
come with us, or they come to us with recommendations, and then the board decides one way or the other.
Okay. Are we in for any other things that we don't know about?
Not that I'm aware of.
Regarding the bylaws and the approval, or the proposed approval in May, is that gonna be in total, or are there specific items that are being adjusted?
Of which?
Are we talking about approving the bylaws in total, or are there specific?
No, in total,
Okay. Thank you.
unless you can see a point of doing it bit by bit.
I see no advantage to that. I just wanted to be prepared.
So,
Did everybody get a copy of it by chance?
I did.
Okay, all right. No, oh, you might not have, okay. All right. Oh, yep.
Am I just putting
Thank
this
you,
in new
Ellen.
business?
Pardon?
Am I putting this in new business or old business?
It's under Township Liaison Report.
So just part of that, okay.
Bam, let's not wait on her.
Oh, yeah, you can.
Yeah, keep,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
can you go to the
oh,
next
yeah,
one?
Yeah. I'm gonna continue typing.
The recreation.
So, how about the Recreation Advisory Committee?
I don't have any update.
I could give you a couple updates.
Thank you.
Sure. A lot of it is in the park manager report. She's taken the lead on the Parks Appreciation Day, which has been rescheduled from April 27th to May 4th. We had learned that the last Saturday in April is always the Earth Fair at Goodall's, and we don't want to compete, and we'd like to continue this as an annual event. So it'll always be the first Saturday in May, so there's information about that. Unfortunately, we've had to cancel the summer recreation program due to a lack of applicants for staff positions. So that's not happening. That's about it for now.
Thank you, Rob.
Yeah.
So Cindy, do you want to give us the grant updates?
And there's really nothing new to tell. It's right here in the minutes, or in the agenda. There's some due dates here that you need to keep in mind. I can add one to the list, and I'll make sure it's on the next agenda. The Michigan Arts and Culture Council, MACC, will be announcing their 2025 grants on May 1st, but again, I'll put this in the next. So those are public art type of projects that they look for. I've applied for that mini grant before with another community, and it's a great opportunity to get some public art in our parks. So that's about it.
Well, I think people need to, all the members of the board need to sit and think what's most important that we could do with very little funds. So take a look at the list of what she's written down. Obviously, the dog park's under consideration already. We already have a kayak canoe launch. Acquisitions, I don't know. Multi-purpose sport court, they're doing that in St. Clair. But the problem with that comes down to it's literally just two courts close together, which gives you very limited playing space. Again, something to think about. Skate parks, splash pads we took out. Trail development. Do we have any ideas for trail developments, Deanna?
Your park trails are complete, right? Yeah.
So we've got $10,000 sitting a potential there. Then we have to also go look in the financials. I believe, Deanna, you told me it's going to take another $5,000 to finish Gaga Park or Gaga Pit?
At least 5,000, yes.
Okay. Above and beyond what the award is.
That's actually under
Yes.
the next section, if you wanted to, but that is coming up, so if you want to just slide right into that.
What? Sorry.
Well, we got the 2,500 for it.
Right there.
Oh, okay.
Are we still in budget at the 25, or is that like over and above, are we estimated to go over?
Are you in project
The
updates?
Gaga Ball.
Yeah, there's some information behind project
Oh, I'm
updates,
sorry.
that's the next.
All right.
I don't know if you wanted to formally
Yeah.
move to that.
Did you provide the copies of the?
Yeah.
Okay, 'cause I-
Yeah, this one. And this, what is it that doesn't? What did I
Is it,
not get?
it's this page, right?
No, that's,
No, oh, okay.
Yes.
I'm laughing at the price of Gaga
right.
Ball.
Joe, you want to talk about the main part? That's kind of the first one on the project updates. What do you need?
Anything on the Gaga Ball?
I've got this estimate.
Yes. So. Oh, I thought this was an application. So we got $2,500 towards it. We're estimating 5,000 plus potentially for the concrete installation. But I think the 25 covered the actual kit.
Right.
For the Gaga Ball, so.
It covers the actual structure.
Right,
So you said we still need the concrete
correct,
underlayer.
yes. I'm
And
just
anything-
not sure, 'cause I don't have the application in front of me, if that covered the kit, and I think the wood.
Yeah.
So it should be, the whole structure
Yep.
should be completed. It's just the addition of,
But they also had the handicap door separate.
that was bundled with the
Yeah.
kit.
Okay.
So all the hardware and the actual kit is covered in the grant.
So
my
we want to get to
understanding-
work on that as soon as they're able to work with the concrete, right? So you have the spot you want,
Yes.
okay? So you're going to need, at this point, what kind of funding?
$6,750,
Yeah, I know.
right? Is that what I'm understanding for the concrete on the bid, 6,750?
So it depends on if you want a 25 by 25 pad or a 30 by 30.
Okay, but I don't know how big the Gaga pit is.
So it's basically in 25 by 25.
Okay.
So the 30 by 30 would just give additional room around it for people watching
Stand.
players.
Well, I think we stick with a 25 by 25, but then,
Pea gravel's cheaper around the edge. Yeah, let them sit in their lawn chair. I'm like, ow, cement's gone up.
hey, you might be in there playing it. It's for all ages, so.
Apparently it's a big thing.
So
We'll find out.
So how soon could we get this set up to be done?
I'm hoping for by the end of May,
End of May?
yeah, so that it can be played that summer. DPW's already removed the old fencing that separated, you know, from the life trail to the playscape, that old
is that where it's
pointless
being
fence.
placed?
Yes, where we pulled the 2 life trail units out because they were teetering. So I'm just going to connect, because it's already a pathway that's accessible, so why not just install that between the playscape and kind of keeping a flow of everything, so then when we replace the playscape, it'll all go together nicely.
Well, if I chose to vote, I would vote for the 25 by 25,
Right.
just because I don't see where I need to spend an extra $1,800 for a little, you know. That's my vote.
Yeah, I would do.
Are we voting? Do we have to?
I don't really think we need to vote, but we need to tell her what our wishes are, and that's
Oh,
only
right.
my wish. You know, I mean, what you might want the bigger one.
No, I think we should stick with the smallest one. We're not worried about the outside of the thing.
Like I said, I'll shovel
Better
the
done
gravel.
grass there.
I think I went on the area park websites and just kind of looked to see what they offer. And I've got a note here that says Ira Township has a Gaga ball pit. Have you ever looked at that before?
I've not, no.
I've never been there. This was just one of my rainy Saturday things. And went down a rabbit hole, and all of a sudden I have more information on local parks that I could possibly stand. But just as a reference to
Yeah,
go look and
go
see,
look at
and
that.
maybe there's a reason why it's supposed to be 30 by 30, or maybe 25 by 25 is fine. I don't know. I mean, I
Yeah.
just don't know. It's in particular in regards to ADA compliance. I don't know whether or not additional cement base is beneficial. I mean, I'm all about saving money too, so.
Okay.
But anyway, supposedly they have one.
I think this could be decided at the next month's meeting.
You'll have enough time,
I think so,
'Cause
yeah.
it's- Oh, okay.
because wherever we take the money. We're all going to Ira on a field trip.
And sorry, Deanna, what did you say? DPW, they removed the life trails or?
They removed the fence that separated the life trail from the playscape. I'm not sure what the purpose of the fence really was to begin with, but it needed to be gone. I'm questioning why I didn't have it removed a long time ago. It looks so much nicer without it.
I'm sure.
Okay, thank you.
So once we decide the sizing, since there's some concerns here,
I don't really think so. She can still bid, you know, she can still get them
Started.
started on it, yeah.
Yeah.
okay. So where do we want to take $6,750 from? If we look in our finances, we need to lift this out of one or two areas.
Do we still need to? Like, I thought that, it wasn't this a grant or something?
No, the 2,500 was the grant, and
Oh,
that
the
covers,
remaining-
that
right.
covers the actual
That makes sense.
Fencing?
The essential grant, okay.
Well, that was one of the
No.
reasons why I was asking the questions about the amount, the budgeted amounts for the different areas, is just trying to find money for that, or,
We can move it.
right, but I didn't know whether or not it
Oh.
was, we really need this money because we're already planning on doing X, as opposed to just kind of like an insurance. And then there's a $15,000 for capital outlay, and I don't know whether or not that's a flexible item.
Do you guys have
I don't
copies of your
know that.
budgets with you at the meetings? Because that's
This
where
is
you're
a-
going to see
I
that.
had put a question to you on my last email as to whether or not the Gaga pit fell into your area or our area.
That's in the park. I mean, it's a park amenity.
Because, so far you're saying we're maintenance.
Development, maintenance, acquisition, disposition. That's your
So
focus.
we need to come up with $6,750.
I don't, well, I thought we were going to bring more information to you in May. Is that, you were going to decide if you
Yeah.
wanted the 25 or the 30?
Right.
Okay.
It's either 5,000 or 60, whatever,
Right,
6,700. So I guess the question that I have is the $15,000 for capital outlays, is that something that there's like already a picture and somebody's?
Right, that's why I asked, do you have your budgets? Do you have the budgets that
I didn't bring
had,
it with me.
you had submitted to us? Would had those itemized, what you were, because this budget in front of you, the numbers are just, the bottom line numbers. Do you have that?
I do
But
not have
when the
it.
budget was
Yeah.
submitted, it was submitted under different people and without the input of most of the board.
Okay, I did share that, though, I think. You all have a copy of it, so that, if you have that, that'll show. I don't happen to have it in front of me,
Okay,
but it'll show you and itemize what those items are that would add up to 15,000 in the original idea for this year. You can always shift ideas if you need to, but, that's where that kind of funding would be a good place to look for that.
okay.
Yeah.
So we'll need to table that until May.
No, I don't think you need to table it. I think this is just an update.
Okay. Either way, we need to get started on it, so,
She already has it scheduled for May.
yeah. So the pickleball court plan for this year is to maintain,
Correct.
okay? Playscape plans will be working on demolition next year, possibly.
We need to all come up with a game plan of how we want to proceed with that project.
Okay. The dog park, that's a matter of where and when.
You all have a action plan update here. We're going to go with these one-pagers that we thought would be helpful for each project that's being proposed or underway, and as it changes, this will be where we share that information.
Do you have an extra one? Do you see
I
it?
have mine.
Well, no, I was just going to get it.
Oh, yeah. You can
Oh,
be
yeah.
in the know. I don't have one in my packet for the disc golf, though, so.
Here, I can pull mine out. You can take the dog part and I'll pull it up.
You want that?
Oh, when it comes up,
Okay, okay.
just make sure everyone else has one.
Yeah.
So what I asked Deanna to do is for each project to kind of bullet point the issues or the plans and provide options and recommendations, and then the commission would take those and make decisions.
Deanna, I have a question regarding the cottonwood trees. Are those trees like right there?
They're all the big ones in the
Those big,
hole.
beautiful, shady trees that aren't crappy trees?
Yes.
Okay. Does that really save a lot of water? Why the removal of the trees?
This is from what I was told. We can start humping a lot more material in there at once, because with those trees, how they are, you can only go up, from my understanding, like 4 to 5 inches with fill. Otherwise, it suffocates them and they'll just naturally die.
On their own? Okay,
So,
that makes sense, thank you.
Do we have input from the audience on?
You're our dog.
No, I just see a lot of water over there, and I would think that just a pump could get it out of there. Just pump it over to the other side, there's a big ditch over there. Is that possible?
that's one of the options, for short term,
Yeah.
would be installing a sump basin temporarily to auto run on off to extract the water. So DPW would have to trench in power from the light pole that's at the parking lot, dig in a sump basin and basically install a sump pump that would just auto kick on and off, but that is a short-term solution. And it's never gonna dry it all the way out, it's just going to take the majority, because once the pump, it's auto leveling, so it'll kick on at a certain height of water and kick itself back off. They did reconfigured the one ditch that was coming out, and that is working, it is doing something compared to what the other one was doing, so.
But still, we have too much water along that side of the park, period.
That whole area is lower than the outer ditches, so
Right.
the whole area truly needs to be raised up to grade.
Well, we're not gonna raise the whole area. So what we need to do is look at what we're gonna do with the park.
Well, relocating, as she's mentioned, is the long-term solution, so.
I don't think there's any input needed for the short-term solution.
Yeah.
I think she was just bringing it kind of full circle. Here's what's happening and how we're addressing it. And then the long-term would be your choice as to what direction to send her as far as funding and project management. Eventually. Doesn't have to
I like the
happen.
idea about the future possibility of a community garden or winter activities. It's a good idea. Okay. Next.
All right, I hate to be a pain, Deanna, but so is it in the works to get the dog park a little drier right now, or?
Oh, yes, yeah,
Okay.
we are doing everything we can, so I want DPW, as I have in there, to, hard fill the service entry gate. Whether the dog park stays there or not, the fill will just be more fill, but in order for, because I have Kevin's coming in, he's gonna try tomorrow morning to start on the lawn. So we will have Kubota and tow strap in hand. But he's gonna give it heck tomorrow morning. But DPW has been putting down like plywood in order for them to kind of skate over the water as fast as they can to service the dog park. And my guys have, well, my one guy has been walking to empty all of the waste receptacles. So it's not a fun job to be carrying heavy loads of dog manure.
Yeah.
Right.
So we need to be able to get in there to service the dog park, especially with spring storms coming, and we need to be able to haul our trailer in there to get all the sticks that fall from the cottonwood trees. And so that is a work order that's already been submitted to them, and is on their radar to do as soon as they can get to the service gate without creating more damage to the yard.
Okay.
Pam? You mind if I ask a question?
Sure.
It's a stupid question, but, because I have no opinion one way or the other, whether it moves or stays or whatever, but like, with regard to the, how the gates are open 24/7, like where it currently is, is that how it would be with the new one or no? I mean, depending on where it's at, but.
It would be an option of sectioning off the far east side of the softball parking lot to
Okay.
allow that to be.
Could there be like a
utilized.
guardrail or something?
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
yeah. So we have 3 different gates over there. 2 are what we use, but 1 could be just solely for the far east section and then allow the other one to open and close.
Okay. Cool.
So, on our disc golf, we talked about potentially reusing the pavers that you have
Correct.
stored.
We have a lot of them, pallets of them. So I watched the meeting and I wanted to clarify my email that went out. It was not on my priority list as far as the disc golf pads, because we need them. I mean, it's important for the players. It just was not prioritized when the budget was being made by whomever did the budget. So the money is not there
Right.
for us to fund them. I got one estimate just for installing the brick pavers we already own to repurpose them was $20,000 to $25,000 to have a landscaper put them together for T-pads. So
Did you even ask a disc golfer if pavers would even be a good option?
yeah,
They think it's a good option?
yeah, there's
In the state of Michigan, 63% of the disc golf courses have cement pads. Cement is like number 2 after natural grass, which apparently nobody likes because it easily erodes because of too much wear.
yes.
They're small, they get worn out when people touch them all the time,
And slippery when wet.
and slippery when wet.
Same with the rubber mats that we have right
Brick
now.
pavers as well. Brick pavers look pretty. This is from the UDisc directory. Brick pavers are pretty, but they're slippery, and if they're not in sun, they moss over quickly and have to be power washed.
I think it depends on the type of pavers they are, because ours were actually our boardwalk that took people down to, and is still currently in place at River Park. So it was a sidewalk that was inaccessible, and they've never mossed over. They're really porous. They're not like the smooth pavers, so their purpose was for an accessible walkway.
How many hole course do we have right now? 18. I mean, the estimated installation price for cement and turf and brick pavers and rubber disc is pretty close. It's $400 to $600 per hole is what the information given to me said. Again, we're talking ballpark, not the
Depending
specific-
on what size, yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, they're usually 4x6 pads. You know,
I've-
4 feet by 6 feet. so-
According to
4 by
UDisc,
8.
it's 6 by 10 or 6 by 12.
Yes.
Oh, maybe that was it. I don't
And
know.
I
That
don't
was
know-
last year's research.
I don't know a dang
forget.
thing about disc
I
golf.
think from
I
the,
do now.
I think from the estimate you got was like 4 by 6 or 4 by 8, but, from research, yeah, everybody obviously
for
wants
like
the
par
bigger one.
3s and 6 by
Yeah.
12s for par 4s or par 5s. I've been using regular golf parlets. Anyway, the top 10 states that have golf, the most prolific states in the United States, the lowest use of cement would be 45%. Everybody else was in the 60s.
From what I was told, is
80.
Columbus Park has 1 concrete tee. The rest of them are built with wood and AstroTurf, and apparently that is what the professionals use, or what I was just informed of, so.
It just doesn't last very long.
Right, but that's probably what we would lean towards, in my opinion, for what's in the woods, because all of the woods floods. So we need to have, if we were to install concrete pads, we're digging up all the tree roots and things like that, and then they're going to erode from flooding.
Okay.
So if we were to do something that was removable like that, we could have them installed, and if we know high water's coming, we can move those ones, just for the woods, in my opinion.
Well, I know enough to be dangerous, not enough to make a decision. I just wanted to share that information.
I'm gonna make a trip over to Columbus and get some pictures and some information.
Theirs is very nice, but it's very, more woodsy, you know, where we have more open field than they do.
Right.
That's
That's
why
why I was-
I'm in Alabama while I was down there to check them out. I don't even go. They're nice. It's a big deal nowadays, so, yeah. But Columbus has a nice one.
Now we've got on to the Bell River Park.
I have that in the only thing I have, which will be in the email you'll get tomorrow for Joe Jack's estimate for raising the entire pathway that was eroded before we put the seawall in. That estimate's gonna be in that email. And then the kayak launch is scheduled to be installed May 1st.
Is that a DPW project or
It's
somebody else have to do
DPW
it?
and KBE Hoist is who we have. DPW kind of hauls it all over there from their Springborn yard and assists, but they do all of the assembly and installation. The Hoist Company.
How about Manor Park?
Only update I had on that one was we're gonna be removing the concrete picnic tables that Dairy Queen donated to us some years back. They were what they had sitting out in front of their St. Clair Dairy Queen. They're just round concrete tables, but they're breaking down pretty good now to the point where I'd just like to have them removed for safety. That's the only update for there right now.
Rivera Park.
We just purchased another hinge for one that is missing on our seawall railing, the gate. It's hanging a little wonky, it's still secure, but that's the only update for that one. We'll be replacing that hinge.
River Park, I know you went over there with Vern yesterday.
He said we were meeting there yesterday afternoon, but I didn't hear from him, so that did not happen. So really, no new updates other than
The fact we got the money.
correct.
All right, and we've addressed the bylaws already. Now, we have to decide mulch, where we're gonna do mulch in the parks. That's the problem, is we don't have the grant for it yet. So, I think that should hold off until we get whatever money we're gonna get. Is that acceptable to everybody?
Yeah.
I apologize for asking. Isn't the grant that we kind of identified to provide the mulch, isn't that almost like an automatic?
Generally, it depends on how much, if we ask for 5,000 and they may offer less, so it's hard to say. It's a reimbursement grant, so you'll be spending before you get the money, but we should know by next meeting how much that supplement will be.
All right, what time of year do the parks normally put mulch in?
Anytime, preference is, spring, so it could be enjoyed through the summer, but we have had to install it in the fall where it sat all winter and wasn't so pretty in the spring.
I didn't know if you had to do it now or if June or whatever.
I think there's a deadline of when it has to be installed by if we get the grant. I'm not sure what the deadline is.
Oh, right.
I think it was fall. It had
Yeah,
to be 6 months or something.
6 months. So
Right.
you'd have 6
Right, but
months.
we would want to do it earlier than that, but there's nothing, June would be fine theoretically.
Yes, I mean, you don't, it depends on how we're installing it, so if we're gonna have like community service try to Wilbur it all, you don't really wanna do it in July where it's
Too hot?
so hot. So early spring is
Okay.
preference, I would think.
We don't have money budgeted for that already? Under
I
one
think
of,
2,500
You
was
have
in the.
2,500 in the budget for mulch.
what do we think the expense is going to be?
Oh.
We have those in there, I think,
I'm
for
sorry.
old business
You-
one
you
you're on,
did.
It was between 16 and 20,000.
for all of them, like.
That was for full installation by a landscape company and the cost of the mulch. Or we could buy the mulch in bulk, have it piled places, and then try to manually move it.
That is jumping.
Or we could have it blown in, but that's a lot more costly, so.
I'm waiting for Ron. Ron, are you comfortable with what you're saying?
I don't know, I'm not familiar with the budget, if I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm familiar with the budget numbers, but
I'll
I'm not,
resend that again to everyone.
I'm
and
not
it'll
familiar
be-
with what
Yep.
constitutes each one of these line
Yep.
items. I guess that's the thing.
I'll
that
resend that to everyone.
That would be
Yeah.
helpful for me if I'm gonna mull and grumble and stuff like I always do.
I thought I had, but maybe I didn't.
Thank you.
And our last item,
So you're going to want to take action on this since it's on the agenda. You can move to postpone, it sounds like. Right?
what do you want?
You're going to want to postpone it if you haven't had a solid answer today, and I would say postpone it for next month. You'll know how much you've given, so you'll know how much to tell her to buy.
I think that's a better idea. So,
But ultimately, we would want to be purchasing, in a perfect situation, significantly more than that grant would provide for.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
It's just in how you want to prioritize it,
Yes.
you know, as if we're planning on trying to demo, rebuild said playscape next year, do we want $10,000 of new mulch in there? Because the majority of the mulch is going in
Mhm.
that area, so.
mean,
Any
I-
business?
are you comfortable?
Well, I just hate everything hanging out there and not moving forward. So, I mean, is it possible for us to, I don't know, get mulch installed in places other than that? If that's a concern?
Yeah, he's got it broken down into the,
I mean, I don't have it memorized, but I saw it's,
I don't have it with me, but I guess it just
if
depends on.
we act on this in May, is that fast enough?
Yeah, because we don't even know if we got awarded the grant for that, so, but I would say if we were going to put it anywhere in the park, you would start with the new playground area. That's the highest used currently.
Okay. But we need to be prepared to make some sort of direction-giving motion no later than May, so that we can,
I think May 15th you're expecting to know mid-May for the grant award.
Right. Hopefully before the next meeting.
okay,
Good.
thanks.
Now, under new business, we
So
have a
did you
new
want
bench
to make a motion to postpone that?
to, you want to make a
Just so you
motion
have it in your
to
minutes,
I'll
what
make a motion
happened.
to postpone that until next month.
postpone? you want to second the motion?
Second.
Okay.
Pam, what are you saying?
Well, the last item, well, the last two items,
Did you call the vote?
I know.
Roll call, right? Or
No,
No,
you don't need to do a roll call ever. It's up to
Yep.
you.
Okay, John?
You
Is
just
that
do it all in
acceptable to
favor.
you to postpone this?
No, you didn't need
Just do a up and down vote.
Just all in favor?
You can do
Oh,
that.
aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Now, Deanna's posted a picture of our new kiosk. And there's a bike repair station right next to it. It could use a bench big time. People stop there, they're gonna repair their bikes, they're gonna read the sign.
It was
Or one.
designed originally, I made it that size specifically to have a bench installed for an ADA accessible bench, so we just never purchased the bench.
So the idea is to put a bench there.
Okay.
Correct?
Yes.
And on the bench, instead of giving an individual bench to past commissioners who may have died or whatever, memorialize them on the bench with a plaque down the road. But the big thing is, first of all, to get the bench. And you came up with what, $1,200?
That is the cost for our memorial bench program, that if you want one of those, similar to those along the pathway.
Well, we need the ones that will withstand all weights, forms, shapes.
I can research some different styles, and if we wanted to do our own style through the park, we can do that, or we can stick with the same benches that are already going down the bike path, but I can get some options for you to choose from.
Now, first of all, does this particular location merit a bench to the rest of the members?
Yes. Be a,
What about you, Evelyn?
but
Ron?
I don't think so. When I read one, I walk up, I look to see where I'm at, where I'm going, what I'm doing, and I leave.
There's
I
the
don't-
bike
you know,
repair station.
All right, fine, yeah, sure.
What about you, Ron?
Well, there's two places it could be. It could be on the left side of the kiosk, or you could place it, on the front right corner. Oh, you can see my mouse.
You have to have a laser pointer. Need your laser pointer.
I didn't notice that. I'm like circling it. So there's two places that it could be installed. But we really don't have any throughout the park's path, as a resting point without going into pavilions and other areas of the park, so.
But having been a biker, I can tell you that if you've gone a long direction or you've gone a long distance, you do want to take breaks along the way. And you don't want to just stand around.
Well, this would be one of many that would be installing throughout. Would just be a start of something that already has a foundation and would be accessible immediately.
Okay?
Was this part of our 5-year plan? Did we have this on there
No.
to add benches? Oh.
Somewhere along the way it should be. But that's all part of upgrading.
Okay, I'm pretty
The
sure
entire
benches are
park.
in the plan. Yeah,
You've got it on,
Oh, we do have it?
let's see, benches, picnic tables.
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually in this year's
the 5-year.
Cindy, which year was that?
Do you have the action plan?
Oh, it's on the action plan. Oh.
Well, I don't know if y'all bring those, but it's this year, 2024.
Oh, not in the packet.
Accessible pathway and walkway improvements to activity sites, including Sled Hill restroom and select picnic tables / benches.
Was I under the understanding that you can get a grant for benches, or is that something else? Because if I remember right, I was told they're like $1,300 a bench, and there's some type of,
Well, the township has like a memorial bench program where if somebody wants to dedicate it to a family member, or if a business wants to sponsor it, you know, depending
Okay.
on what, but.
We basically cover the cost of the installation.
The problem with that is I've queried some of my neighbors, and they're not particularly fond of spending that much money. So you need something that appeals to the financial sensibilities.
well, I just was wondering, I thought there was talk of being able to purchase, you know, like X amount of benches and having some type of, but I guess
We
not.
do need that.
And there's no grant, so. Are you waiting to say if we're roll call, if we're gonna vote for one or not? Is that what you're, I mean, because I don't really mind where the placement is. I would leave that up to Deanna.
I can bring something at the next meeting, different choices
Okay.
of benches opposite of the ones that are on the outer bike path.
And I'm
And
kind of
you
a
can-
match kind of person, if it's on the outer path.
The
make it
benches
all
are not
match.
cheap. I mean, they're commercial grade, no matter
Right,
what
but
kind
one
you
and
get.
done, right? You do
Yeah,
it
you-
once and.
they're gonna last. I mean, they're
Yeah.
built to be abused, so you can't get like household benches, or we'd be replacing them frequently.
So are we in agreement that we can place a bench?
My reservation would be going back to my basic lack of knowledge for what items
It's considered a priority.
is built into the budget. If a bench is $2,500 and I could buy $2,500 of mulch, I don't know which one I would choose first. They're both important. So I guess, and I hate this, but Cindy, when you send us that, I'm gonna read it and burn it into my brain. Yeah,
So,
I have no aversion to having a bench there. It's just that if it's a dollar for dollar, then I want to make sure that we're prioritizing our money. It's not like a bench couldn't be installed there in subsequent years. Anyway, that's
I think
my,
that's fair, yeah. So we should just hold off then on Deanna looking into this for now until we know further. Okay.
I was just offering a location for, because the bench was under discussion, so this is an option if you were wanting to.
and you
buy
were
a bench.
talking about a memorial bench, right? That we had,
we're talking about a bench that's useful.
That would
And
be
that could also have
designated as, park commissioner memorial bench
Okay.
type things for multiple people.
okay.
So it sounds like we want to delay this one.
Until we know further what our budget is like for the year, I think,
Is that acceptable to everyone?
yeah.
Do we need to take a vote on that? Okay. Pest control quotes.
Can I just a point of order, it's helpful if it's an action item that you do move to postpone, so that there's a reference that we can go back, well, whatever happened at that meeting about that action item that is still unresolved. So it's just something that's helpful to take just a quick poll, motion to postpone, support, all in favor, kind of thing.
Okay. Do you have that down?
I'll make a motion to postpone this discussion till,
May.
sure. I mean, I was thinking like further on in the summer. Sure, May. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay.
Then for our final joy,
You want to just just be formal and take the vote.
Oh,
Then I'll close it up. You just say all in favor, then you can record that then.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
pest control.
Fast Pace did not raise their rates again for us, so he's been with us, geez, I want to say probably 10 years or so. So he will be tentatively slated for the 22nd for him to come through and get our first treatment.
Well,
He tries to get him before.
I
Should
see
be.
a couple of issues with this. We've got the Red Brick School,
Those are not ours. Ours is a separate.
the Rose Hill Cemetery,
You wouldn't be approving it.
DPT shop, DPT storage.
When I ask him for season quote, he bundles the whole township, so
Right.
then we just pull ours out of there. So we just have Manor Park, River Park, and Main Park, Eastern Park.
So you're looking at 1,600 plus the waterfront restroom.
It's, I believe, 1,200 for the main park. I think the waterfront restrooms 250, I want to say, and
400 for Manor Park.
Manor Park's 400. Yeah.
But what about the waterfront restroom?
That is
240.
River Park. 240.
240.
Okay, but that's still ours.
Yes.
Okay, so,
So the request from us would be $1,840. Is that what you're saying? Those three things added together, if I did my math in my head correctly?
Yes. And that was usually always taken, I believe, AP pulled that out of playground maintenance.
This isn't really an optional thing, right? That's something that has to be done, because you
Yes.
get major problems if you don't do it.
Mhm.
Same prices we've had for several years.
Yes.
I mean, I'd be willing to make a motion.
And this is
to
spot
move forward.
treatments with no extra cost,
Right,
so
that's nice.
anytime, even in the woods where he doesn't treat, he will do ground nests that he would charge $150, $200 to come do, so that's all included.
I guess I would make a motion to grant fast pace spiders and wasp control. I guess the contract or agreement to pay for our portion of the township quote for the East China Park, the Manor Park, and the waterfront restroom. $1,840. So we can get-
Where would you like that to come out of when I pay the voucher?
I'll take care of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
We'll figure that out later on. There's money in there for it. There's money in there for it. That's a priority.
So generally, if it's a maintenance or a budgeted item, you're not necessarily going to have to call that out, but if it's something that's not been considered in the budget, you'd want to discuss that, so.
Okay.
Any seconds?
I'll second it.
All ayes?
Aye.
Aye.
Unless there's any other considerations, I call this meeting closed at 8:28.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ron.